Hello and welcome to Daily Politics, reaching you from Trust TV here in Abuja. On this program, we discuss issues around politics, policy and governance. I am Suleiman. Today we are bringing you the second in the series of our search for solutions to the insecurity problems in northern Nigeria. We go wherever the search for solution takes us. The issue of insecurity in the north has been raging for some time now. Thousands of lives have been lost and thousands more have been displaced. Property worth billions of naira have been destroyed, while millions of citizens can no longer sleep with their two eyes closed. Blames and counter-blames have been threaded around, but on this series, we're not after blames. We're after solutions, lasting solutions. We want an end to the killings, the abductions, the rapes, and the displacements of people from their homes and communities. At Trust TV and at Daily Politics, we will follow the trail of news and information that will lead us to all of these ends. So today I have with me Professor Usman Yusuf, the former Executive Secretary of the National Health Insurance Scheme. Professor Yusuf is a professor of hematology-oncology and bone marrow transplant. He is one of the few people who have studied some of these issues in depth and who are advocating for a permanent solution to the crisis, particularly banditry in the Northwest. Welcome to Daily Politics, Prof.
Thank you for having me, Suleiman.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But before we continue, we will take just a minute of a break, and then we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us. Welcome back. This is Daily Politics, and we're getting straight onto the discussion proper, because we're discussing insecurity in the North in search of solutions. So, Prof, let me welcome you to this program once again. You were here once, and today you're here again on this specific series. So far, you know, the crisis in northern Nigeria, the insecurity crisis, the security are many, you know, and varied as well. The Boko Haram in the northeast, you have the religious and communal conflicts in Jos, Kaduna, and parts of these areas, and then you have the banditry going on in the northwest as well, and other sundry crimes that also cause a lot of insecurity across the state. How do we even begin to approach these issues in terms of solution to them?
Yeah, like you said,
yes,
all this insecurity from Boko Haram to the communal crisis in the plateau to banditry, this is in the north, and even if you go down south, they're all different. The genesis are different. The causes are different. The solutions are different.
Interesting.
I'm a doctor. You cannot write a prescription for a patient until you hear the patient, examine the patient, arrive at a diagnosis, and then write a prescription.
Interesting.
So, the first thing is to know the causes, the genesis, and see how you can solve them.
Okay.
And all these crises, all of them, problems are local. Solutions are local. Not from Abuja. Big plans from Abuja without consulting stakeholders have not worked, will never work. So, the key is, just like Gandhi said, whatever you do for me without me is against me.
Interesting.
Government does not listen. This is how government does not listen. I'm old enough to have seen 13 administrations from General Yakubu Gowon retired to this government.
Interesting.
Never seen a government that does not listen. Disconnected from realities of our people. You have to listen. You cannot throw big plans from Abuja and expect things to work. Banditry that I know.
Yes.
I and
You're
Sheikh Gumi.
speaking a lot about
absolutely.
that. Yes.
And I speak from strength. Because we risk our lives, Sheikh Gumi, I, and the rest of the team, we ventured into the forest in 8 states, in frontline states. 5 in the northwest and 3 in the north central. Why did we go? Because the default for all of us, especially the so-called elites, is to fold our arms and blame government. Or forward WhatsApp messages. Or say, Allah saw you. Well, our children and grandchildren will ask each and every one of us, what did you do when your people were going through this?
Interesting.
No, Buhari. Buhari has less than 2 years to go, and his deed will be done. This problem will be here.
That's precisely, that's where one of the red flags, is. What do you foresee happening to this crisis? Because they're happening when you have someone you can say a northerner, at the presidency. How would things look if that northerner is no longer there?
And let me correct. People say this is happening not because Buhari is there. The banditry is happening not because of Buhari or Boko Haram is happening because of Buhari. Whoever is there, you can come from the moon.
Yes.
It's the way you handle it. It's the way you handle it as a leader.
Interesting.
A leader must listen to the people on the ground, and see what the problems are and how to solve them. This is not a military problem. Banditry that I know of very well is a social problem that this government is increasingly militarized.
But the bandits are using arms.
Absolutely, I will tell you.
So isn't that an indication that then more arms or more force of arms can then counter the superior force of arms?
So ask yourselves.
Yes.
It's been 7 years now. If superior force could do this, why didn't they do that? So we expect to do something in 17 months what we couldn't do in 7 years. We need to sit down and ask ourselves. People in charge of security need to sit down and ask themselves, what have we been doing wrong that things are getting worse? Things are not getting better. I remember in 2015, I'm from Katsina. I could drive from Abuja straight to Katsina without any problem. Now I can't do that. Now this highway from Abuja to Kaduna has become highway to hell.
Sure.
A third of my state is under siege, the president's own state. The governor of the state, of the president, a governor in the ruling party, has come out and told us, citizens of Katsina, buy arms and protect yourselves. What that is an indictment.
But is that a solution in itself?
No, I'm just telling you.
Okay.
It's giving up. When your leader is giving up, you're on your own. He is saying, guys, we can't do it. Protect yourself, defend yourselves. How? How do we do that? So, but let's not miss the message. The message is a governor from the president's state, from the ruling party, telling people, arm yourselves and defend yourselves. This is a gentleman that is burdened. His conscience is burdened that we cannot do it. We have failed as a government.
Thank you, Prof. In my conversations with people who have some information about this, I've met quite a few of them lately. One of the things they have told me is that castle rustling, was a direct precursor to what we are dealing with now. What is the connection between banditry, which is almost going full-scale terrorism now, and castle rustling?
Right. So if you look back, way back, because we did not just jump into this, we went into this to learn, and we're still learning. We're still learning from people there. If you go back, what was the genesis? I'm Fulani, we have folks in the forest that have cattle. This is not who we are. And nobody should tell me, oh, they came from Mali, they came from Senegal. No, they are ours. So how did we get here? Just like every Kanuri should ask himself, how did we get there? Just like every Igbo man should ask himself, how did we get there with this IPO? So we are asking ourselves, how did we get here? That was why we went into the forest to find out. You sit down, the Sheikh one, we go. Before we go into the forest, we meet the Ardos. Ardos are their leaders. We meet local leaders. Because it is the Fulanis and the local host communities everywhere that have problems. The local leaders, the Ardos. We go to see the Emir before we go into the forest to hear them. When we come back out of the forest, we go back to the same people, we go back to the governor.
What are those things that you heard?
This is what we hear.
Yes.
So from the people and from the history. And there is a report by the IGP, former IGP, MD Abubakar. In Zamfara, 279 pages.
Interesting.
About the genesis of banditry. Zamfara, that's where it started. So it started, there's a long-term history of injustices meted at Fulani for a very long time. We knew that by local judges, local traditional rulers. But then it started with 1999. All the lands they have lived in for generations were taken over by politicians and given out. Their cattle rule, they had the roots, they have no place to graze their cattle. And then Fulanis, they started rustling each other's cattle. And the Fulani, you don't have cattle, then you're nobody. What do the youth do? They started doing robbing. They started stealing, and then the local host communities formed militia when this thing continued, and they started killing. And militia anywhere in the world, they are not properly trained, they overdo it. So there was this thing, they go into the forest, they kill Fulanis, so it exacerbated. What did the Fulanis and their youth do? They retreated back into the forest and decided to, what they are saying, protect themselves, because what they are seeing is an existential threat to their race. So they will come to you.
In the media, at least, and the popular perception of these people, this issue, people don't see that the bandits or the Fulani as being the aggrieved party. They are seen as the aggressors rather than the aggrieved
So then
party.
you ask yourself,
contrary
right,
to...
good. Then you ask yourself how we get here. What you hear in the media, social media, people that say it. We have been there, we have seen it. We have talked to this. We have risked our lives. We've been in the forest. We don't go get Truji till 10 p.m. driving out and reaching our accommodation 1, 2 a.m. So we're not just...
Were they themselves...
So how did we get here? So they retreated back into the forest. There was no government, and because over the years, because of lack of authority, there were a lot of ungoverned spaces. So they retreated. After all these local militias were killing them, they retreated back into the forest, and they will come to your house, fellow Fulani. If you have a child that can fight, they conscript him. Or you pay, you sell cattle, you pay for them to amass their armament. Once they start having that, boy, did they start unleashing terror on local communities that terrorized them. And then it all got messy. So you'd ask yourself, all this time, where was the government? Local government especially. Local government and state government, where were they? In Zamfara state. They were missing in action. They were complicit in all of this. And then you have, we say, some traditional rulers. Traditional rulers are put between the rock and the hard place.
Thank you. In his comments recently, Dr. Murtala Rufai Ahmad of Usman University, who wrote a book, I'm a Bandit, a well-known book, much widely cited now in Nigeria. He was saying that the identity of the bandit goes beyond Fulani, that some of the bandits are in fact Hausa, some are non-Hausa, some are Kanuri, some are Nupe, some are people, people from all different, even outside a little, the Tuaregs from. So why is the perception mainly that the bandit is a Fulani person? Right. Is that part of the problem itself?
No, you see, that is why we're here to educate the world.
Okay.
And that's where absence of government and intelligence. Our intelligence services should know all of this. The continuing banditry and Boko Haram, I've said it again and again and again, is absolute failure of intelligence, of our intelligence. Look, bandits have more intelligence, credible, actionable intelligence than others. They can track security agents. They know who is this. They know who is this. They have enough money.
So how do they get that intelligence?
No, it's money. They say they have enough money. This is in former IGP's MD Abubakar report. They have enough money to pay an informant $500,000 naira to give him information. So here you are with people in the villages that have nothing to do, and bandits are giving them this money. Remember, all these bandits, if you look at Dr. Ahmed Rufai's paper, all these bandits, majority of them grew up together in the same locality.
Within the same communities that they are now attacking. But that's part of why people are outraged.
The same locality. So what happened there is because of there's a local problem between the two communities. They are not coming to attack. Why are they attacking each other? If you read the distance, and I'm writing a lot, you are learning every day. Over 70% of Fulanis, over 70% of bandits are from Zamfara.
Even those ones in Sokoto or in Katsina,
the one that moved, the one that moved to Kachala Turji, the one that moved to Sabon Bindi and Goronyo and terrorizing them came from Shinkafi. We met in Zamfara. So 70% of these bandits, and they will classify, if you speak with Dr. Rufai, he will classify bandits to active bandits. These are these criminals that go on causing all this havoc, killing, maiming, raping, and burning villages. And there are those he classified as passive bandits.
Okay.
Who are these passive bandits? Passive bandits are, they have their cattle. They don't want to go into this nonsense, terrorist, this thing. They have to arm themselves to protect themselves.
Okay.
And their people, and their cattle. Their biggest enemies are these active bandits. They fight between themselves. And these passive bandits, they are armed. Yes, they are armed. To protect their herd and to protect their people. And they also protect communities, local communities, against these active bandits. So you need to understand, Nigerians need to understand the intricacy, even in the forest. In the forest, more of these bandit leaders have been killed by fellow bandits.
Among themselves, yes.
By fellow bandits than by security agents.
Interesting.
All this, if you look at the study of Dr. Rufai, 10 years, will tell you, the first gang was started by this bandit called Kundu. He trained Buhari Daji in 2012. Buhari Daji is the one that trained all this. Dogo Gida was under him. Turji was under him. Sheikh Hurage was under him. Nkarami was under him. Who killed him? It is Dogo Gida that killed him. So between themselves, there's a lot of bloodshed in the forest, killing themselves. And they do all this kidnapping and ransom to arm themselves against each other. It's a complex,
I was speaking,
wild West.
Dr. Ahmed Gumi mentioned this last week when I was speaking with him on this same issue. He was saying that, he said that there is an arms race
Absolutely.
between among the bandit groups themselves. So how would the military, the Nigerian military or the Nigerian state, how would it key in either to reduce the arms race or to use the arms race to as a sort of measure for solution?
Good.
How can that happen?
Good.
Yes.
Well, and I said it. There's a role for the military, but there is no military solution to this.
Okay.
The military is dumped into a mess. This mess was created by politicians. The military cannot go and say, Fulanis and Hausas don't kill each other. Gwaris and it's not the responsibility of the military. It is the political leadership that must show leadership and give the military directives as to what it wants it to do. We are dumping the military to take care of social problems. The political elite, leadership, from top to bottom, must get involved and solve this problem as a social problem and involve local stakeholders. We went into the forest from Kogi to Kwara to Niger to Zamfara to Sokoto, and this is what I came out with. They have a lot of respect for clerics, and they said it. In Niger, what we saw, they
Why
gathered...
is it because they don't have the same respect for politicians?
Right, they have lost, this is the honest truth. They have lost faith and lost confidence in politicians. They have, and the government. And for good reasons too. Historically, they've entered into negotiations that have failed. They are where they are essentially because of politics.
But the politicians have always said that it is the bandits that reneged on the arrangements.
Yeah, politicians are what they are, politicians. I'm here because we are not happy with them. I'm not a bandit, but we are not happy with them. They are the ones that brought this mess up, and soldiers are brought in to clean up the mess that they cannot. This is the honest truth. Banditry is a very difficult problem to solve for this reason, because they are everywhere. It's a very easy problem to solve. It's easier than Boko Haram. I will tell you why. Boko Haram, they do all of this. They're twisted religious.
They have an ideology.
They have been twisted. Sheikh Gumi would not have been welcome there. They would have slaughtered him.
Interesting.
And the first person to criticize Sheikh Gumi after we went into the forest was Sheikh. Because Sheikh saw Sheikh Gumi as a threat, going in there and telling them, right? It is Dogo Gide that brought Boko Haram into Niger, just for them to help him buffer his distance, and then he chased them out, and then we're dealing with them. Everywhere in the world, from Colombia to Northern Ireland, clerics came between combatants. I saw that with my eyes. Turji, Dogo Gide, and all of them gathered for us, and they said they would not have done that for any politician. They listened. And he would hear all their grievances and stand up and preach to them with the scripture that this is not who we are. This is not our upbringing. Where in our scripture did he say that? Yes, we've had your grievances are real. But there are no reason, there are no excuse for what you're doing. He was the first to say that in the sternest of voices. But when we come out here, people say, Sheikh Gumi is this thing with bandits. They don't know what we are going through. And we're still talking to people, to everybody.
In one of his ideas, some people are saying that the flooding of the area, of the camps where the bandits live, with drugs, with a lot of drugs, particularly for these foot soldiers, because these people are in thousands and in hundreds, that the foot soldiers consume a lot of, drugs, and this also fuels the crisis. To what extent can that be true? Since there is no equivalent idea of drugs in, for example, in the crisis in the Northeast regarding Boko Haram?
No, in Northeast, there are politicians flooded that place with industrial quantity of tramadol.
In the Northeast?
Absolutely. Before all of this started, they were calling them ECOMOG before they morphed into this nonsense. So drugs and banditry directly related. You look at what human being will do what these terrorists are doing without being under the influence of drugs. And I saw it live. It's not that somebody told me a story. When we went to Zamfara, tourist camp, we were surrounded by over 1,000. A battalion is 1,000 soldiers. Over 1,000 kids. His camp.
How young are they in terms of the average?
We're talking 13, 14, 15. His camp is called Enshabokwe. The average age is 17. They're all surrounded. They surrounded us. They were smoking marijuana. You could smell marijuana in the air. When we sat, Shegumi and a representative of Sheikh Kutama, the representative of Sheikh Dahiru Bauchi, and Imam Sultan Bello and Turuji, they sat on the high table. I deliberately refused to. You know why? I wanted to engage these child soldiers. Talk to them. Initially, they would not.
Given that they are already addicted to drugs, or at least they are doing drugs, is there a dialogue way out of this now?
Absolutely. Turuji was saying, ask all of these children. There is not one of them that has not lost a family member from either a bomb or a fight or this thing. And we went with some women, 2 women, that are mothers. Now I see the wisdom of why we went with them. Because when we went to the Emir of Shinkafi, we said, we're going with them. They are also mothers. The Emir of Shinkafi said, no, we shouldn't go with them. Sheikh said, no, we're going with them because they want to come. They came. Now I saw the wisdom.
The mothers, are they from where? Are they from among the Hausa?
From Gusau. I mean, I will tell you this thing. I was engaging this little child soldiers holding big guns. They wouldn't talk to me. When they started reciting the Quran, because before we start, there are al-Rammas that would recite the Quran before we start talking.
But majority of the bandits themselves, they are not educated. They are not educated in any way. No. They don't have Islamic education. They
are Muslims.
Western education.
They are Muslims. They are born Muslims. They are Muslims. They will die Muslims. I will tell you, when they started reciting the Quran, I was just watching them. And they were dropping. They were dropping this marijuana and putting it off. I could see them.
But that's one moment.
I will tell you.
What guarantee is there that kind of thing can work
what I'm saying,
over a long-drawn solution?
Look, these are children. You could reach into their heart. And I was eavesdropping. At the end, there was mixing. I was eavesdropping on the discussion of this mother with a young bandit, 13, 14. She was asking him, where is your mother? I mean, these are things only a mother could ask. Where is your mother? And I turned, just looking. This kid dropped his eye, dropped his gaze. See if he was going to cry. When he was telling her, oh, his mother was killed. So we are saying we are in a mess, that adults, elders, and sane voices and sane minds and hearts need to come in. And I saw the power of a cleric. It could have been any Islamic cleric, they would listen to him. Sheikh Gumi, I saw how he, one of them was asking me, he touched me. Say, Al-Raini, what's the name of this sheikh? They don't even know him. And I told him. So, this is a pathway that the government can reach. You kill Turji, you kill Dogo, you kill all of them, many more will spring up.
Thank you. Earlier you talked about, you said that the military has a role, but there is no military solution to this problem. I will be taking you on to speak more on that when we return from 1 minute break. Thank you, viewers, for staying with us on this edition of In Search of Solution to Insecurity Problems in Northern Nigeria. All we're trying to do is to understand the problem better so that we can find ways of solving it. We want to see that the bloodshed ends, the rapes end, and of course, people stay and sleep in their own homes peacefully. But we'll be taking a minute's break. Stay with us. When we return, we will continue with Professor Usman Yusuf. Thank you. Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Daily Politics on Trust TV. You can also follow the discussion via our social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and on YouTube. Before we went on break, we were talking about how to bring the insecurity situations in the north to an end, with a particular focus on banditry in the northwest. I'm having this discussion with Professor Usman Yusuf, and we continue. So, Prof, you said that the military has a role, but there is no military solution to it. But some people see the two as one thing, no difference. That the military's role in this whole crisis is a military solution, and that's the only solution to it. For example, the governor of Kaduna State, Malam Nasir El-Rufai, he was saying that the only way out of this is to bomb the forest where the bandits live. That suggestion resonates fairly well with a wide, a cross section of Nigerians. Yes. What do you think about that?
Yeah, what Governor El-Rufai have engaged him severally. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Okay.
He doesn't. He hasn't seen what we've seen. And what he's saying is just political grandstanding. End of story. And each time he opens his mouth, people die. Just watch. Each time he opens his mouth, bad things happen. Our advice to him as a leader, he should be circumspect and know what he says. That's not a leader. He's not shown leadership as far as security is concerned in Kaduna State. Kaduna State has an enviable record of being the state where you have the most school abductions, of being the state where you had 5 killings of our children in school, with the governor saying nothing and saying he's not going to engage now. He's not going to talk. He's not going to engage. So, he has been irresponsible when it comes to his utterances, and it's costing lives. And my advice to him is to say nothing. If you cannot say something good, say nothing.
Maybe because he's a governor, he receives security reports, so he's in a position to know
all the security,
what can work and what cannot work.
No, he doesn't. He is not.
Okay.
All the security report he received, nobody has seen what we have seen. Of all the people that are giving him security reports, nobody has engaged the people we have engaged. So it's up to him. He's a politician. He can sit and talk whatever he wants to talk about, but it's all empty. And when we went to the forest, the bandits told us. They are hearing his utterances and asking the sheikh, is this thing true? Is this dialogue only in Niger State? Because they had the governor of Kaduna State say there's not going to be dialogue in Kaduna State. So what the sheikh said was this: we are here looking for peace, and our venture and this thing is for the whole nation. That whatever we come here to you, we go back to our elected representatives, our governors, and also tell them and hear what they have to say. But my purpose, that is Sheikh Gumi's purpose, is to bring peace. So, governors have said a lot out of anger. It's understandable, but they keep quiet. But when you continue to provoke everybody, Kaduna is look at Giwa, look at Chukum, look at Zaria City. It's all surrounded by this ruthless bandits.
Even last week, yesterday, there was news that bandits are even getting into Kaduna City. Of course, look at Bindangwari. Each time he opens his mouth. So my advice to Governor El-Rufai is to please say nothing. Allow those that can handle this security issue to do that productively. But he is the chief security officer of one of the most affected states in this crisis. Wouldn't silence be complicity on his part?
No. Sometimes silence is wisdom.
Okay.
Silence sometimes is wisdom. If you don't have anything good to say, say nothing. Tell me one positive thing that he has said that has changed the tide of banditry. It's all his provocative utterances that have made Kaduna the killing field that it is. It is wrong. And it's not showing leadership. Talking is no game plan. There's no game plan. Real leaders strategize and do things quietly and show results. There has not been a positive security report in Kaduna. Day in, day out, 20 kill, 30 kill, 40 kill, Bindungwari, Chukun, Southern Kaduna, everywhere. And you're here saying, go bomb the forest, go bomb the forest. Are you Rambo?
But is it even possible to do that?
No, let him ask him.
If it is possible...
Next time, ask him.
If it is possible, would that help the situation?
The next time, ask them.
Okay.
Is this Vietnam, where Americans threw napalm bomb on this thing? People need to be responsible in their utterances, especially when they get to a level of responsibility. So, it's irresponsible, it's annoying, it's counterproductive, and it's unbecoming of a leader. It does nothing.
Thank you. But part of the issues, again, is the people talk about, the grievances. What about the grievances of the communities that that have been attacked all the time? 200 dead, 150 killed, 10 killed in Shinkafi, in Anka, in Sabon Birni, Sabon Magaji, various places.
Yeah.
And some of these killings, each one becoming more barbaric than the previous one.
Absolutely.
What about those ones?
Yes, and nobody is holding forth for any of these atrocities. As Shegumi, his brother was kidnapped, his blood brother, older brother. Our relatives, our villages have been... Nobody is holding forth for anybody. And nobody will sit down here and tell you what they are doing is wrong. Or what they are doing is right. Or don't go and get those that need to be gotten. Right? But empty, we know. We've sat down with vigilantes, we've sat down with victims, we've sat down with things you want to cry if you hear. Day in, day out, go to Shegumi's house, people are trooping and telling him. People call us. Oh, ours have been kidnapped, this is what has been done to this is what has been done to this. Unspeakable horrors done to these people, done to our people by bandits. So for anybody to come and say we are holding forth, or anybody is holding forth for that, is being uncharitable and doesn't know what he's talking about.
Accusation has been made,
right,
particularly against Shegumi.
You know what? This is the point. Whatever you do, if you expect everybody to love what you do, you are wasting your time. And always remember, those that will criticize you are always those that do less than you. Those that do more than you do not. Somebody needs to come in. Why did he come in? Because there was a vacuum of leadership. Everybody must come in, not only clerics. You're doing your part. We're doing our part now.
Yes.
Everybody must come in to play his role in this banditry. We have never seen. The North has never seen this much bloodshed.
Yes.
Even during the Civil War. I'm old enough to have seen 13 administrations. We've never seen this. Never seen this. Katsina, where I come from, a third of the state is under siege by bandits. When our son is in the villa. So nobody is going to tell us we are not victims. We are all victims. Absolutely. We must come in, we must play our role. Government has failed. The federal and state governments, all of them have failed.
So how do the community...
Okay, let me tell you. Okay, yes. And northern state governors, what have they done? Oh, Kaduna state governor is saying, oh, go and bomb them. Oh, Zamfara is saying, let's sit down and do this. Oh, this guy is saying, let's sit down and do this. There is not a unified, coherent, intelligent, compassionate approach to this.
Which brings us to the role that the Northern Governors Forum can play, or organizations like, ACF, the Council of Traditional Rulers. Isn't there something that all of this, because governance operates at different levels, isn't there something that they can do?
Right. So whatever anybody does, if the top there is not interested in negotiating, in dialogue, and what have you, you will just be doing your own thing.
So is there a way that these other levels can get the villa to become interested?
Right.
And people who are in the villa.
Absolutely. And people are doing. Like I told you, we are continuing to engage. Traditional rulers are continuing to engage. Old heads of states are continuing to engage. All scholars are continuing to engage at local level. Because you must make it You must make it local. Sitting down in Abuja and talking abstract. After I came out of the forest, I don't want to watch Abuja this thing, because we are living in a different world. Our people are suffering out there. Women have been raped. All our cattle have been rustled. Our villages are literally now. We go to Katsina. Many villages, you bring out 1,000 naira in the village square, nobody has to change.
Prof, suppose, because when I speak to even, the more people are informed about this issue, the higher the chances that they would think that military is not the only solution. Because virtually some from Katsina, some from, from Sokoto, the different kinds of people, some reporters, some academics, some, NGO workers, the more I talk to them, the more they're informed about what's happening on the ground. Some profs like yourself, the more they feel military cannot do this alone. Right. But the question then is, what happens? How can even the dialogue take place? What under what framework? Because the practical framework of that is also important. How is it going to be possible? Right. The bandits are in hundreds of camps. They don't have any identified leaders. So how are you going to be able to even dialogue with them, right, even if we say dialogue?
Good. So talking about the role of the military and what people say, the military knows themselves. In their heart of heart, they know this is not something they will win, because this is a social problem. We're expecting two things of the military in this.
Interesting.
Number one, for the military to clear them out of the forest.
Okay.
To engage these bandits and clear them. Number two, to protect our population. Our military, we do not have enough. This is the truth. We do not have enough.
Is the military capable of these two things?
No, because they don't have the number. What I'm saying, the military is overstretched in 34 out of 36 states of the Federation. What is their population? A little over 100,000. Just before the Civil War, we had 10,000 military. After 30 months of Civil War, we had 250,000. Here we have just a little over 100,000. We are deploying them into 34 states. 34 states. They go share and leave.
Bandits come back. That's a scandal in itself.
Bandits come back. So the reason I keep saying there's a role for the military, there is no military solution. We need to open our eyes and stop lying to ourselves and face the truth. This is not a military problem, and there is not going to be a military solution. If we want to fight this militarily, we need to put this nation on war footing and actively mobilize. I had just 5,000 recruits were graduated from depot.
Okay.
That's nothing. That's nothing. During the Civil War, we keep churning them if you want to fight this war. These bandits have been in a state of war. So what do you want to do? Do you want to do cosmetics and allow this thing to continue, just keep managing the process, but not addressing the underlying problem? What is the underlying problem? The underlying problem is always local. So
in this case, what exactly it is that is local? What is it? What's the underlying problem?
Every place you have local grievances, local. There's none of these places we went to, all the 8 states we went to, did any bandits.
States?
Yeah.
Okay.
5 in the frontline states, in the northwest, and 3. We went to here. In none of these places did we hear any of the bandits say they have a problem with the military.
Interesting.
Or the government. This is in sharp contrast to Boko Haram. Boko Haram, they fight these elements of state. Bandits have no problem with the military or the federal government. Their grievances are always local. The federal government comes in and assists locally to solve this problem. This thing will be shut. The government is saying, oh, go and kill them. The issue is you cannot kill. Mobilize those that can dialogue. Mobilize
Who are those people?
Clerics and traditional rulers.
Okay.
They have lost confidence, these bandits, and they have lost confidence in the political elites because they have seen what the political elites have done for them.
What about the arms? what framework
good.
can you have to draw out all those weapons? Because a lot of the money that they use for kidnapping, they don't do anything with it. They don't have houses. They don't have anything. They just buy more weapons.
I saw that. I told you, we saw that. We saw them live. We saw Dogo Kachala Turji. They are going in slippers. They don't have mansion in Abuja or Dubai or anywhere. Cattle is their lives. They buy cattle and they get guns to protect their herd and their people. We need to go in there and come in and see, and not through bomb. All the places we saw bomb thrown, that was their first and ever contact with anything government. All these years. No electricity, no light, no water, no this, no that. Nobody is making excuses for whatever they are doing. We have to find a way to come in and break the cycle of violence. How do you do that? They are people that they trust, all sides trust. Traditional rulers and clerics have traditionally been the security network of local communities in the north. That is why when governors come, and he said it in his interview with Arise, the president said, when these governors come, he sends them back to their states and say, go and take care of your problem. Go and use the traditional, but you have not empowered them. Empower
what
them.
Specifically can the president do in this situation, since the problems are local?
A lot.
What can a president do? Not just this president, any president, because Nigerian president, once you are in the office, it doesn't matter where you come from. The role has to be played as a Nigerian person, rather than where you come from.
If you ask me, if I'm the president today, what will I do? I will find people on both sides that both sides will listen to.
Okay. And these people exist?
Absolutely. We saw clerics.
Okay.
We saw clerics. And the purpose of our going there was to, first one, to open a channel of communication, which we were able to do, to build trust. There is so much mistrust because of reneging of dialogues all through. You have to have open a channel of communication, build trust. They are not going to trust soldiers, or they are not going to trust government or politicians. Who do they trust? Bring them in, wherever they are. Bring them in. And how do you get a ceasefire? Ceasefire has to be bilateral. Ceasefire, bandits will not drop their arms, we have them. Will not drop their arms, will not disarm unilaterally vigilantes. They fear vigilantes more than they fear the army.
Interesting.
Yes. We've had that in Niger, we've had that. They will tell us, Sheikh, if you are really here for peace, what are you going to do with vigilantes? Nobody will tell us, oh, they're afraid of...
But these communities in Niger, in Sokoto, in Katsina and so on, believe that the vigilantes are their frontline protectors as well, because the police and other state agencies are missing.
Yeah, that's communities, yeah.
Yes,
right, that's
the communities,
yeah,
yes.
So this is so how did vigilantes come? Vigilantes came because of bandits. How did bandits increase their existence? Because vigilantes are continuing. So it's a vicious cycle that sane and honest leadership needs to come in between, and because there's not going to be peace, I tell you, in this country based on throwing bombs. Problems need to be sorted out locally. We have heard how this thing is continuing in Zamfara, why it is continuing. You ask yourself, like, why did they kill 200 people in Zamfara? Why? I mean, any human being would ask himself, why this? Why? These are human beings you're killing. Even 20 chicken, you won't
this
kill
is a lot
and
to
feel
kill.
it. For goodness sake. And these are innocent souls.
Yes.
If it is combatants, they are fighting you, you kill them, it's understandable. But these are innocent souls, women and children and the aged, you just kill them. For what? You need to go and understand why. How did we get here? Is throwing more bombs the solution? Is it going to solve any problem? Is bombing the whole forest going to solve any problem?
Thank you. I think we will be keeping it here for now. Hopefully we will have an opportunity to meet with you again on this series or on the program more broadly. Thank you very much, viewers, for staying with us. We are now at the end of today's program. Thank you for staying with us, and do join us again same time tomorrow for another episode of Daily Politics. I am Suleiman Suleiman. Good night.